right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks once again for joining me. I am your host, Derek Lane, another edition of the Fast Lane, your podcast for success. It's been a little bit, but let's jump into a topic here that I was thinking about, and it's worthy of delving into, and that is output. Now, to have output, you must have input. So, when you have input, when you have information, when you learn things, when you read things, you listen to things, you hear lectures and teachings, whatever the case is, you learn stuff. What are you doing with the information that you learn? Are you just storing it in your brain? Are you silently being smart? And that's what a lot of people do. They learn things, but they never put the things they learn to use. And that's why I challenge you to start outputting, to start taking the things that you learn and put them to use. Work them into a plan. Work them into your life. The things that work for you, that you imagine. And we all have brains that construct, mold, and model, the ideas that we have. And the best way for us to use those ideas. And sometimes it doesn't always work to our advantage, not 100%, but it is moving forward. And that's sometimes how we can understand the perfect structure, is by moving forward, by implementing those ideas, taking the words, taking the ideas, the notions that we are accepting. Because you ever notice that you can listen to something and you probably only retain just a portion of it? And I've done that with a lot of great speakers and authors and books that I've read that interest me. I can read something, hear something, and I'm only taking a portion. And I heard the whole thing, but my brain only accepted a few portions, because that's all we can do. When we learn new things, we can only take chunks. When we have great ideas, there are great books out there that they need to be read more than once. They need to be read more than twice, because you'll get something new every time you read it, because there's so much information chalked into one of those good books. And I remember reading, Tony Robbins, the first that he put out, and it had so much information in it that I could only retain, and implement just a bit. But I've read that thing over and over and over, and now by this time, gosh, what's it been, 30 years? But I bet you if I read it again, I'd probably pick up something new, even now. No, and it doesn't matter who your favorite author is. I just, when I first got interested in, learning, understanding, and teaching, he was kind of one of the, hot authors or speakers or whatever. But there's a bunch of them out there, and I've learned much from a bunch of those authors and speakers, and the podcasters as well. There's a ton of information out there, and your brain sifts through that information and tries to pick out what's relevant to you and what's going on in your life, what's going on in your time, what's going on now. And that's the beauty of it. When you have something that someone has written or spoke of, it may not be relevant to you, but chances are 6 months, a year, 10 years, there's probably something in there that you didn't retain that's relevant to now. So that's why I encourage you to take the ones that you like, take the books, the tapes, CDs, podcasts, take those and listen to them more than once and get more out of it. Because that's what you're supposed to do to be a better person, is to learn and grow. But you can't grow significantly without implementing, without taking the input and using it and creating an output. teaching others, lead by example. We do this to create a better success path. We have advantages right now that we didn't have, 10 years ago, that our fathers and mothers didn't have, our grandfathers and grandmothers didn't have. So generational building is progression. Your grandfather didn't have a laptop computer, didn't have a cell phone. All he had is a horse and a plow, and that's how he made his way. And occasionally would pick up a book, oftentimes the good book. And that's where so many times we have great knowledge, because that's one of the best books you can gain knowledge from. But point being is you have to utilize the things that you understand, the things that are relevant to you, the thing that your brain accepts, and keep searching for things that become more and more relevant to your success path, to who you are. Be true to yourself. Know thyself. Understand your flaws. Understand your shortcomings. Understand what you need to do to be better. Now, don't beat yourself up. Don't get down on yourself. But just understand, I could be a better person here. I could be a better person there. And you start to work on those things. I knew a guy that was a great guy, but most people didn't want to be around him. And because he hogged airtime. He hogged airtime. You can't get a word in. His conversation skills were lacking. He liked to express what he knows, doesn't want to listen. What he's got to say is more important. And you may be thinking, yeah, what a jackass. Well, the guy wasn't. He just was unaware of his conversation skills and how inept they were. And one day he come to me, he says, why is it that I don't make friends very easily? And I was brutally honest with him, and I told him, I said, you're always talking, you're not listening. You have a wealth of knowledge to share, but you're sharing knowledge that isn't relevant to people. You're just sharing things that matter to you in the time and place that you are. And if you listen to people, you understand their wants and needs, then you can start to help people. But give them equal airtime and listen. The Art of Conversation, if you haven't read the book, How to Win Friends, Influence People, it's a must-read for you. It really does teach a lot of valuable lessons in the art of communicating. But anyway, with that, there's people that know things, but they don't utilize them properly. They don't know how to teach them properly. They're intellectual hoarders. I'm going to continue to learn and understand things, but I'm not going to give back. I'm just going to keep it in. Or if I do attempt to do it, it's in the wrong place in the wrong time. You have to be a good listener to be a good teacher. We need to be stewards of our community, our society, and show people that we're leaders. Good leaders listen to people. Good leaders lead by example. Good leaders have balance in their life. Not only are they financially secure, they're emotionally secure with good relationships, whether it is a spouse, children, parents. One of the most important things you can do in your life is to have a healthy relationship with your family, a grand set of ethics, a code that you live by that is one of a positive nature, one of teaching, one of growing, setting examples, being non-hypocritical, say what you do what you say, being well balanced in life. If you're only looking for money, or you're only looking for certain things, you're going to come up short in other areas, because you have to learn to be a balanced individual, a balanced human being. Your career path, again, I'm always going to advocate that pencil and paper, write it down, review it, re-review it, understand the synchronicities in your life to help you, because I do believe that we get signs that help us grow as individuals. Pay attention to who you are, pay attention to the reactions that you get when communicating, verbal, nonverbal. Be the best person. Be the most understanding person. But this podcast is about output. This podcast is about sharing the knowledge that you have and not being an intellectual hoarder. It's about you. And it's okay to be about you. And it's okay to make money. And it's okay to give when you don't feel like giving. Because being selfish is not in the cards of the grand scheme of things. Giving rewards more than getting. Giving, love the people that you're around, love your family, love your friends, pay close attention to the people around you, pay close attention to your work, pay close attention to your thoughts, pay close attention to yourself, your feelings, your health. Don't work yourself to death. Don't be stressed. It's not worth it. Find a way to be a successful person without sacrificing your health, your family, your friends, and yourself. It's possible. Not only is it possible, it's doable. Many have. Many don't understand the whole concept. Many people think they're a success because they've grown financially secure, but the other side of their life is a total wreck. 4 divorces, can't hold on, estranged kids. That is no way to live. Be whole with your life. Be balanced with your life. Take the knowledge that you have and implement it. Share it. Grow. Be a leader. Be an example to the next generation, where your kids will say, my dad was so great, my mom was so great, and their kids will understand, Grandpa and Grandma were the best. And this is what I've learned. I mean, you'll hear that. I hear that story all the time. My grandma was so smart and so great, and she taught me this. My grandpa used to do this, and it was so great. Or my dad, you get it. Leaders. You don't need to lead the world to be effective in this world. Let me say that again. You don't need to lead the world to be effective in this world. What you need to do is be effective to the people in your world. Be effective to the people that's in your life. The people that mean the most to you. Family, friends, peers, customers, you. All right. Well, with that, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate if you will share this podcast with someone that you believe will get a benefit, even if it's just a fraction of the idea. Something in here that says, I know someone that needs to hear this. Share it. Share it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sharing your ideas. I'm talking about output. Again, this is one way that I contribute the output. The things that I have stored in, my intellectual vault, my brain. I'm trying to talk about those things because they matter, because I've seen the difference that the positive outcomes have provided to me. And I'd love for everybody to share this sentiment. Okay? And with that, we will do this. We'll do this talk again next week. I apologize that it's been a little bit, but the fast lane will continue, and your listenership is appreciated.